Okay, so apparently I didn't have good sound um before. I don't know. I was just all excited. I really want to use that Streamlabs so bad, but I guess it's just not meant to be used right now. The day is coming when I will be able to use it, I guess. So let me check out my sound now and see how it's doing. Sounds like I can't hear anything. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, sound check. I got it. All right, so we do have sound. So let's start the crime surf over. First up, Kyron Horman. 7-year old disappeared from Oregon school in 2010. Here's what he would look like today. Kyron Horman, the second grade student who was last seen at his school's science fair, would be 19 years old. And here's the age progressed photo that Nick Bick released. I think they did a fairly good job on this one because it looks like he would have grown up to look like this. I mean, even to the shape of the teeth, they got the freckle, the eye shape, adjusted the hairline a little bit. So I think they did pretty good on this one. I think this might be a reliable age progressed photo. Okay. An age progressed photo of Kyron Horman, who was last seen 12 years ago at his Oregon elementary school, has been released by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Nick Mick, forensic artist, released a new age progression of what Kyron Horman would look like today at 19 years old, Nick Mick stated on his Facebook page. He was only 7 years old when he vanished 12 years ago from Portland, Oregon on June 4th, 2010. That morning, Kyron's stepmother, Terry Horman, attended a science fair at Skyline Elementary School where Kyron was photographed in front of his project about red tree frogs. Terry says she watched Kyron walk down the hall toward his second grade classroom. I saw him walking down to his room. My vision of him is the back of his head almost at the door, Terry told People in an exclusive 2016 interview. That's what I see when I sit here and think about him. That's my last thought. That afternoon, when Kyron did not get off the school bus home, Terry says she called the school and was told he wasn't there. He had been unaccounted for 6 hours, she says. Within hours, investigators were searching around the school for the second grader, and within days, Terry appeared to be the focus of the investigation. Terry has never been named as a suspect or a person of interest in the case surrounding Kyron's disappearance, which officials for the Multnomah County Sheriff's Department say is an ongoing investigation. Meanwhile, Kyra's biological mother, Desiree Young, has remained committed to finding her son. She wants the Multnomah County District Attorney to create a new task force and focus on Kyra's unsolved case. I want the DA to know who I am and to know who Kyron is, Young told TV station Fox 26 last week. I want him to make Kyron a priority again. Anyone with information is urged to contact the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office at 503-823-3333 or 503-261-2847. That second number is the tip line. Or to call Nick Mick at 1-800-THE-LOST. Okay. We're gonna slide back over here and talk about again. Oh, and before I slide back over here, let me show you Kyron Horman's age progressed photo again. And that photo that you see on the left of him at 7 years old was taken the day he disappeared. That photo was taken in front. That's the photo that was taken in front of his science project for the science fair. You can see right here it says red-eyed tree, and I guess it's going to say frogs. So that's exactly what he looked like the day that he disappeared. And this is what he probably looks like today at 19 years old. And now, on to the crime surf. Mexican megachurch leader sentenced to 16 years for sexually abusing followers. Nason Joaquin Garcia, the leader of Mexican megachurch La Luz del Mundo, Light of the World, was sentenced to 16 years by a Los Angeles judge after pleading guilty to 3 counts of sexual abuse of minors in his following. And here is the demon pastor here, because he is definitely not a saint. Nason Joaquin Garcia, the leader of Mexican megachurch La Luz del Mundo, will spend more than a decade and a half behind bars for sexually abusing and forcing a number of young female followers into sexual servitude under the guise of religion. Garcia, 53, who pleaded guilty last week to sexual abuse, was dealt a 16-year sentence in Los Angeles Superior Court Wednesday, prosecutors announced. He pleaded out to a trio of charges, including 2 counts of forcible oral copulation involving minors and 1 count of a lewd act upon a child who was 15 years old, according to a criminal complaint obtained by Oxygen.com. His plea was filed days before the trial was slated to begin, according to prosecutors. The sexual abuse allegations date back to at least 2015. Garcia was first arrested at Los Angeles International Airport in 2019. As to the defendant, I say, you are a sexual predator. Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge Ronald S. Cohn told the court during his sentencing on Wednesday, the Associated Press reported. During the case's pretrial proceedings, prosecutors had accused Garcia of using his position of authority within the church, known in English as Light of the World, to impose his sexual will on a number of young women. They alleged that he promised his victims salvation if they obliged his sexual advances, and threatened them with eternal damnation if they rejected him or spoke out about the cycle of abuse. And I believe that should say he promised his victims salvation if they obliged his sexual advances. Millions of the church's followers regard Garcia as the apostle of Jesus Christ. I never cease to be amazed at what people do in the name of religion, Judge Cohn added at his sentencing, and how people's lives are ruined in the guise of serving a supreme being. Here's the judge that I think I love, because he is telling it like it is the whole time. The judge's animated statements Wednesday came after approximately 3 hours of gut-wrenching testimony from 5 women who were sexually victimized by the megachurch leader. I further want to tell all the Jane Does that this world has heard you. I promise you that, Cohn stated. During the victim's emotional testimony, the group of women who gave their statements anonymously described Garcia as a monster, the Antichrist, and an evil person comparable to disgusting human waste. I worshipped my abuser, stated Jane Doe 4, who said she was Garcia's niece and he is sick on top of sick on top of sick. According to the Associated Press, he used me over and over again like a sacrificial lamb taken to slaughter. Being called an apostate was the worst of the worst, and you would go to hell no matter what, Jane Doe 2 also said. In the year since Garcia 2019 was arrested, in the year since Garcia's 2019 arrest, his accusers have reportedly faced retribution from the megachurch's followers who have rallied around its spiritual leader, Sheep. Today's sentence for Nason Joaquin Garcia is a critical step forward for justice, Attorney General Rob Bonta said in prepared remarks on June 8th. While it will never undo the harm and trauma he caused as the leader of the La Luz del Mundo, this sentence makes it crystal clear that abusers, no matter who they are, will be held accountable. Sexual assault is never acceptable, he added. My heart goes out to all those affected by the horrific actions brought to light during this case. At the California Department of Justice, we will continue to stand up for survivors and fight back against abuse. Garcia's defense team had previously denied prosecutors' assertion that the disgraced megachurch leader had spiritually coerced his victims for the purposes of sexual gratification. Of course, they denied it. It is a fantasy seemingly invented out of whole cloth, defense attorney Alan Jackson wrote in a court filing, according to the Associated Press. Hoo-wee. He can't say his lawyers ain't trying to defend him. I couldn't do it. Jackson didn't immediately respond to requests for comment regarding his client's sentence when contacted by Oxygen.com via telephone and email Thursday afternoon. Light of the World, which also lamented Garcia's sentence, released a statement reiterating their support for the embattled spiritual leader. The apostle of Jesus Christ has had no choice but to accept with much pain that the agreement presented is the best way forward to protect the church and his family, the church said in a statement sent to Oxygen.com on Thursday afternoon. Okay, I'm not going to say nothing right now. The church said Garcia took a plea deal because he claimed his forthcoming trial had been rigged against him. While he respects the law and the community, he does not believe that the trial he would receive under these conditions would be fair and just, the statement added. He wishes to spare the church and his family from weeks of unfounded public accusations, including threats to their physical well-being. Right. La Luz del Mundo was founded by Garcia's grandfather in Guadalajara in 1926, a spokesperson for the church said. In 2014, Garcia assumed the title of apostle following the death of his father, Samuel Joaquin Flores. The church has grown to encompass approximately 5 million followers across the globe, per the Associated Press. According to prosecutors, Garcia will be required to register as a sex offender upon his release. Whew. I done gave myself a headache reading about this man. Where do I begin? Do I start with the fact that he's accused of assaulting a child under the age of 15, or do I start with the fact that he's accused of assaulting his own niece? Or do I start at the part where he says they're going to go to hell if they don't do what he wants to do sexually? Maybe I should start at the part where the church still thinks he's the apostle of Jesus Christ and that the trial was rigged against him. So he didn't have a choice but to take this plea bargain. Or maybe I should start where the apostate apostle called his victims apostates. Or where the church is attacking the victims and supporting the abuser. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. The rapist. 5 million followers across the globe. 5 million sheep in this flock. Sheep. Sheeple. You would think that out of 5 million, at least 2 million would have walked away like, bro, I'm not listening to that foolishness. You did it. 5 million strong. I swear to God, I'm gonna have to start asking people off top what church you belong to, because if they say this church, I already know we can't be friends. We can't have no business together. I'm gonna move on because that one right there just worked my whole second to the last nerve. Okay, that's the same one. Copy. Close. Paste. Nope, not today. I'd had enough of abusers for one day, so we're gonna move on to the next article. Man filmed throwing woman onto New York subway tracks in unprovoked attack. Woman suffers broken collarbone and cuts to her head and arm. Looks like we have a video on this one. How do you throw somebody on the subway tracks? Like, what was he thinking? Who even thinks to do that to somebody? Let's see. A man has been caught on surveillance camera. Oh, I can't read it. Okay, let me stop sharing and register real quick. Do. I'm coming right back. I'm registering so that we can see this article. I just shut down the screen so I'm not like showing you guys all my information and passwords and all that good stuff. And welcome to the chat, by the way. If you have any problems hearing me or whatever, just type something, let me know so that I can try to fix it. There shouldn't be any problem. So I'm using my regular software. I was trying to use Streamlabs earlier, but that just doesn't seem to want to work for me. Every time I think I got a kink worked out with it, something else kinks up on it. Okay, so let's get this reloaded so that we can watch the video. Get this shared again. So this dude decided it was a good idea to throw a woman onto the New York subway tracks. And apparently it was a stranger. He didn't even know this person. Like, bro, it's real. Okay. A man has been caught on surveillance footage hurling a woman onto the tracks of the New York subway. Is it loaded up? In an unprovoked attack. The altercation took place on Sunday in the Bronx, with security cameras filming the suspect grabbing a 52-year-old woman by the shoulders and pushing her onto the ground and down onto the tracks of the subway before casually walking away. Okay, here's the video. Okay, so why isn't the video showing up for you? Okay, there it is. Whoa.